My dear friend, let us begin with a truth so profound, so life-changing, that when you hear it, and more importantly, when you feel it, your entire world will shift before your very eyes. Your millionaire reality already exists. Yes, in this very moment. Not in some far-off future, not in some distant realm, but here now. It is yours to claim, not by force, not by effort, but by assumption, by stepping into the state of the wish fulfilled. You see, we are not here to create wealth as though it lies outside of us. We are here to awaken to it, to remember what is already true in the timeless field of consciousness. Everything you have ever desired, every fortune, every dollar, every luxury, already exists within the infinite imagination that is your true self. For consciousness is the only reality, and imagination is its voice. The world you see is but the reflection of your inner assumptions, your inner speech, your inner knowing. If you would become a millionaire, you must first be one in your mind, and not merely as a passing thought or a hopeful wish, but as a deep inner conviction. You must dwell in the feeling of wealth. You must live from the end. To live from the end is not to hope or to beg, but to know. To be so certain of your wealth that the world cannot help but conform to your inner vision. Let me say it again, your millionaire self already exists. In the infinite quantum field, all possibilities are present. You poor and struggling, and you wealthy and free, both exist simultaneously. Which one you experience depends only upon the state you occupy. States are not earned, they are assumed. You need not struggle to get to the state of wealth. You need only to step into it, by imagination, by faith, by feeling. Suppose tonight, before you drift into sleep, you dare to feel yourself as already rich. You imagine with such vividness, with such clarity, that your senses are fooled. You walk through your mansion in your mind. You run your fingers along the marble countertops. You smell the leather seats of your new car. You feel the softness of luxury linens on your bed. This is not fantasy. This is creation. For imagination is the only creative power in the universe. I tell you, the moment you accept this feeling as real, not tomorrow, not next week, but now, your world must rearrange itself. Your outer reality must mirror the inner state you have assumed. And the law is impersonal. It does not care if you are worthy. It does not ask how long you've struggled. It responds only to your assumption. Many ask, but how can I assume what I do not yet see? And I answer, you do it every day. You assume fear before anything goes wrong. You assume failure before you try. You assume lack, and so you live in lack. Why not reverse the process and assume abundance? Assume wealth. Assume success. Assume the feeling of being a millionaire and remain faithful to it. There is no power outside of consciousness. The money you seek, the opportunities you desire, the people you long to meet, all are reflections of the state you dwell in. Do not chase them. Embody the version of you that already has them. Step into the scene where it is already done. Be so anchored in that feeling that nothing can sway you. The key is persistence. You must remain loyal to your inner vision even when the outer world denies it. The world is a mirror, not a master. It reflects what you feel to be true. If you judge by appearances, you remain bound to them. But if you judge by the truth within you, the millionaire reality you have assumed, then the world must bow to your inner decree. When you claim your millionaire self in imagination, you must not return to the old man. Do not look back. Do not contradict your assumption by speaking of lack. Speak only of what you are becoming. Better still, speak only from what you have already become. Say not, I will be rich, but I am rich. Say not, I hope to succeed, but I succeed effortlessly. This is not arrogance. It is alignment with the law of being. You are not manifesting wealth. You are revealing it. You are not attracting money. You are remembering your birthright. The entire universe is within you, waiting to be expressed. And expression begins with assumption. Perhaps you are wondering, but what about my debts? What about the bills, the job, the struggle? And I tell you, those things are shadows, remnants of your past assumptions. Do not resist them. Simply deny them the power to define you. They are not the truth. The truth is what you choose to feel now. And feeling is the secret. Suppose you sit quietly, and bring before your mind a simple scene. You are holding a check for $1 million. Or perhaps you are looking at your bank account, and the numbers read 7 figures. What do you feel? How does your body respond? Do you feel relief, joy, gratitude? Anchor yourself in that feeling. That is the seed. If you water it with faith and repetition, it must grow. You do not need to know the how. That is not your work. Your work is to occupy the state. The bridge of incidents will unfold on its own. People, events, and circumstances will conspire in ways you could never predict. But you must not waver. If doubt arises, return to the feeling. If fear speaks, speak louder the truth of your inner world. This is the narrow path. Few walk it, for it requires discipline of attention. But those who do find that reality itself bends to their will. Let us not forget, imagination creates reality. Not someday, not eventually, but now. Everything begins in the unseen, and the unseen is governed by what you assume to be true. If you truly knew that you were already a millionaire, how would you walk? How would you speak? How would you think? Begin there. Act as if it were impossible to fail. Live from the result, not the condition. This is not wishful thinking. This is divine law. You are the operant power. Nothing happens unless you make it happen by your consciousness. If you persist in the state of wealth, if you saturate your mind with the feeling of abundance, then the world must reflect it. And when it does, you will not be surprised, for you will have lived it already 1,000 times in imagination. Be not afraid to dream boldly. The only limits are the ones you accept. There is no virtue in poverty, no holiness in lack. You were made in the image of the Creator, to imagine, to expand, to express the fullness of life. Wealth is your natural state, not greed, not vanity, but the freedom to be, to give, to live without fear. Speak to yourself as the wealthy one. Think from the place of affluence. Walk through life as though the treasure were already yours, because it is. What you are conscious of being, you become. Say with me now, not as a question, but as a declaration: I am wealthy. I am free. I am overflowing with abundance. It is done. Persist in this feeling. Morning and night, return to it. When the world tempts you with appearances, return again. You are not subject to the world. The world is subject to you. Remain loyal to your inner vision, and the outer world must conform. In the silence of your mind, claim your fortune. In the stillness of sleep, enter the state of wealth. Dream from the end, and in time, perhaps sooner than you dare to expect, the world will echo your assumption. The money will come. The opportunities will appear. The life you imagined will stand before you in full color and form. Not because you earned it by toil, but because you claimed it by faith. Not because you chased it, but because you became it. You stepped into the state, and the state brought everything else with it. This is the secret. This is the key. This is the path. Now walk in it. So then, remain faithful. Faith is loyalty to the unseen. Faith is not hope. Hope waits. Faith knows. When you live in faith, you are not swayed by appearances. You are not waiting for the outside world to tell you it's done. You tell it that it's done. The world is clay, and your inner conviction is the sculptor. Mold it, shape it, but never beg from it. Speak with authority, for you are the author of your reality. When you go to sleep as the millionaire. Let that be your final act of creation each night, to surrender into the feeling of wealth. Feel it so deeply that your subconscious cannot tell the difference. And when you awaken, arise as the version of you who already has everything. Before you check your phone, before you speak a word, reaffirm, it is done. My wealth is secure. I am the abundance I sought. The world is only echoing back to you the beliefs you've installed in yourself. Your inner speech becomes outer experience. If you speak lack, you live lack. But if you speak wealth, and more importantly, feel wealth, then wealth must find you. It is law. You do not need to convince others. You need only convince yourself. That is your sacred work. This is why so few experience transformation. They do not persist in the assumption long enough for it to harden into fact. They plant the seed, but dig it up the next day to see if it's growing. No, my friend, you must plant it and believe. And in believing it becomes. You will feel tempted to react. You may see the bills, the balances, the limitations. But these are echoes, not current truths. They are the old state playing itself out. If you react, you return to the old state. If you remain unmoved, you confirm the new. To the one who remains steadfast, All things must bow. There is nothing more powerful than a mind convinced of its own wealth. The outer riches are but symbols. The real gold lies in your self-concept. Change that, and the entire world changes with it. The world is not separate from you. It is yourself pushed out. So make the inner self wealthy, and the outer will reflect it effortlessly. When you walk into a room, walk as a person who lacks nothing, not arrogantly, but confidently. Quiet confidence is magnetic. It is born not from ego, but from alignment. When you believe you already have all that you desire, you carry an energy that attracts everything to you. You no longer need to hustle or prove. You become a living invitation to abundance. What about action, you ask? Of course you act, but now your actions are infused with knowing. You are not taking action to become rich. You are acting from the state of wealth. Every move you make, every word you speak, flows from the version of you who already succeeded. It is not striving, it is expression. You no longer ask, will this work? Instead you declare, this is who I am, and that declaration becomes the script your world must follow. For the universe is always listening, not to your words alone, but to the feeling behind them. If the feeling is lack, then even the sweetest affirmations are empty. But if the feeling is abundance, then even a whisper is thunder in the world of form. So feel it, breathe it in, let it sink deep into your bones. Let wealth become your natural rhythm. Let it be as familiar as your own heartbeat. No longer something to chase, but something to relax into. Something that was always yours, waiting for you to notice. What you seek is seeking you, but it cannot reach you. If you are dwelling in doubt, come up higher. Rise into the state where all is well, where all is done. In that state, time collapses. Miracles happen swiftly. Synchronicities align, and all because you dared to feel different. You do not need to beg the universe. You are the universe expressing as you. Speak as it would, think as it would, feel as it would, and then watch as the shadows part, and the treasures hidden in your consciousness begin to manifest around you. You will look back one day, and smile at how simple it truly was. Not easy, for it requires discipline, but simple. You changed your mind. You changed your inner conversations. You changed your self-image, and the world could not help but obey. So today I urge you, step into it. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for signs. Be the sign. Be the evidence of what is possible. Become the living proof that imagination creates reality. Assume it, own it, declare it. Your millionaire reality is not a fantasy. It is a frequency. And when you tune into it, all the riches, all the opportunities, all the clients, all the windfalls, they come not as a surprise, but as the natural consequence of who you become. So I say once more, with all the conviction in my heart, your millionaire reality already exists. Not out there, not in some distant future, but in you. And the only thing required, the only door you must walk through is assumption. Assume the feeling, assume the identity, assume the result, and never waver, never doubt, for the world will reflect you exactly as you are within. So make the inner world wealthy, radiant, confident, and the outer world will mirror it in perfect detail. As you persist in this assumption, as you continue to wear the garments of wealth in your imagination, something miraculous begins to happen. You no longer need the money to feel rich. You no longer require the world to change for you to feel abundant. You have mastered the feeling itself, and that mastery is what bends the external world to your inner command. You begin to see signs everywhere, not because the world suddenly decided to cooperate, but because you changed the lens through which you view it. The same streets, the same people, the same circumstances begin to appear new, vibrant, rich with possibility, all because you are new. With this newness comes a deep inner calm. There is no more panic, no more lack. You walk as one who has already arrived. You speak from the mountaintop, not the valley. This is the secret of all transformation. To feel the truth before it is seen. To feel wealthy while the world still echoes poverty. To feel successful while the evidence says otherwise. That is the test, and that is the power. You must understand that your external world is always lagging behind your inner state. It takes time, sometimes only days, sometimes weeks, for the visible to catch up with the invisible. but it always does. Inevitably, unfailingly, as long as you remain faithful to the new state. If you waver, if you fall back into the old story, then you delay the manifestation, not because you're being punished, but because the law cannot express what you do not consent to internally. So guard your inner conversations, make them sacred. If you catch yourself saying, "I can't afford that," stop. Replace it with, "I choose not to buy it now, because I am a wise steward of my abundance." If you find yourself thinking, "Nothing ever works out for me," replace it with, "Everything is always working in my favor, seen and unseen." You must become the master of your inner world, not a victim to passing thoughts, but a deliberate thinker, a conscious feeler, a chooser of states. This is why I urge you to make time each day for inner communion. Withdraw from the noise. Go into the silence. And there, in the theater of your imagination, see and feel yourself as the person you desire to be. Live the scene over and over. Repeat it until it becomes natural, until you no longer try to believe it, because it feels inevitable. You do not need to force the world to obey. You only need to dwell in the state that naturally includes your desire. Think not of what you want. Think from it. If you are already a millionaire, how do you think about opportunities? How do you relate to money? How do you wake up in the morning? What do you expect from life? Begin to live that way, not someday, not when you have proof, but now. The now is your point of power. And in this eternal now, everything you seek is already yours. I must tell you again, the world is not a cause. It is an effect. The only cause is consciousness. The outer world is simply crystallized imagination. What you hold in mind with feeling must outpicture in time. It is law, there is no exception. When you realize this, not just intellectually, but viscerally, experientially, your entire relationship with life changes. You stop chasing. You stop begging. You stop waiting. You become still, certain, grounded. You know that what you are imagining must come to pass, and so you rest in the assurance of it. You live in a kind of divine leisure, acting only when moved by inspiration, trusting that every step is ordered by your deeper assumption. Yes, people will wonder what changed. They'll ask what strategy you used, what job you took, what risky investment you made, but they won't understand unless they too have walked this path. Because the real change happened in silence, in stillness, in imagination. Long before the bank account swelled, you became wealthy in spirit, and that wealth had no choice but to appear in the world of form. You are not waiting for your fortune. It is waiting for you, not the version of you who struggles, but the version who dares to feel successful in the absence of proof. The version who chooses joy, not because circumstances are perfect, but because joy is the language of the fulfilled wish. Let me say again, you are not trying to get anything. You are learning to be everything. This is why the inner world is the only thing that matters. When you get the inside right, the outside follows. But if you keep checking the mirror to see if your smile is real, you will never smile. You must first be, and then the reflection appears. Persist, no matter what, no matter how long it takes, no matter what your senses report. Hold fast to the truth that your millionaire reality already exists. You have seen it in your mind. You have felt it in your bones. You have claimed it as your identity, and identity always finds expression. If you fall, get back up. If you doubt, return to the scene. If you waver, remind yourself of who you are. You are not some powerless creature trying to earn favor from the universe. You are the operant power. You are the divine in action. And when you assume a state, the universe responds, not because of what you want, but because of who you are being. So be the wealth, be the abundance, be the success, and everything else will come to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Because once you fully embody the wealth within, you no longer think about being rich, you think from the richness itself. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, even breathe differently. Your nervous system relaxes. The anxiety disappears. Why? Because there is no tension in the fulfilled state. You have already arrived. You no longer hustle to get something. You act from the awareness that you already have it. That's the mystery. That's the gateway. From this place of inner richness, your choices become cleaner. You say no to what doesn't align, not out of fear, but from clarity. You become selective, not desperate. Opportunities show up in your life, not because you chase them, but because you are now magnetic to them. You are dwelling in the state that naturally attracts abundance. You are broadcasting the frequency of a fulfilled being. And this is precisely why people often feel stuck, not because their desire is unreachable, but because they are still identifying with the version of themselves who doesn't have it. As long as you remain emotionally loyal to the old version of you, the one who worries, who doubts, who asks how long will it take, you delay the manifestation. The new you, the rich you, the fulfilled you, must become the only version you live from. And once you fully make that shift, everything accelerates. The movement of your world depends solely on the movement within your imagination. I cannot emphasize this enough. It is not hard work that brings the change, it is inner work. You don't plant seeds and then shout at the soil to grow faster. You plant, you water, and you trust. So too with your assumptions, you plant them with repetition, water them with feeling, and trust the law to fulfill them. Your only real job is to remain in the state of the wish fulfilled. All else is done for you. The how is not your concern. The bridge of incidents is not your responsibility. You simply rest in the knowing that it is done, and when the outer reality begins to echo the inner shift, you won't be surprised. You'll simply say, of course, it could be no other way. For when the inside is transformed, the outside must follow. It must. This is not philosophy. It is law. The law is always working, either for you or against you, depending on the state you dwell in. So do not visit the state of wealth, live in it. Build your mental home in abundance. Sleep in it. Eat in it. Think in it. Speak in it. And when doubts come, and they will, dismiss them not with fear, but with quiet confidence. That was the old man. I am new now. I have stepped into my truth. What is this truth? That you are the master of assumption. That your inner world is the blueprint. That everything in your life is molded by the images and feelings you entertain consistently. That nothing comes to you unless it first comes through you. You are not waiting on the world. The world is waiting on your alignment. So today, now in this very moment, assume your power. Assume the feeling of already being the millionaire version of you, and do not step out of that identity, no matter what appears. When the bank account tries to argue, you smile, you know the truth. When others doubt you, you stay composed. You know the law. When your senses lie, you override them. You know imagination is more real than anything your eyes can see. Stay in the state, and let the state express through you. Let the phone ring with good news. Let the mail bring unexpected checks. Let the ideas come that unlock streams of wealth, but never chase them. Never panic. They come naturally when you are dwelling in the right consciousness. Above all, never forget you are not doing this alone. You are supported by the same infinite intelligence that created galaxies. That divine power is flowing through your thoughts, your feelings, your visions. You are not separate from Source. You are the extension of it, and your imagination is the sacred tool through which it works. So bless this moment, this breath, this awareness. You are rich now. You are powerful now. You are the creator now. Not in theory, but in lived experience. And everything around you must eventually mirror the wealth you now carry within. As you continue in this inner knowing, you realize something else. That wealth is not merely money, but a state of mind, a state of peace, of freedom, of certainty. You begin to see wealth everywhere. Not just in your account, but in the air you breathe, in the sun that kisses your skin, in the conversations that uplift you. You begin to walk in harmony with life itself. And in this harmony, material wealth naturally flows to you, because you are no longer resisting it with thoughts of lack, you are allowing it with your feeling of abundance. The truth is, wealth was never separate from you. It only seemed so because you identified with a lesser version of yourself, but now you have remembered. You've returned to the source. You've stepped into your true identity, not a person trying to become rich, but a spiritual being revealing the richness that has always been yours. And in this shift, everything transforms. The mind becomes calm. The body becomes light. The path becomes clear. You no longer force outcomes. You allow them. You no longer measure success by the clock or the calendar. You know time bends to your assumption. What once seemed far away now arrives swiftly, effortlessly. Why? Because you are no longer delaying with disbelief. You are no longer canceling your desire with contradictory thoughts. You are living from it. That is the final key. Consistency of consciousness. To dwell habitually in the state of wealth until it becomes your new normal. To think like a millionaire until it becomes automatic. To feel deserving, not occasionally, but daily, moment by moment, breath by breath. When wealth becomes your identity, life cannot help but shape itself accordingly. You are not here to struggle, to strive, to wait endlessly. You are here to create, and you create, not by effort, but by alignment. Not by willpower, but by assumption. And assumption is simply sustained feeling. The feeling that it is done, that it is so, that you are already that which you desire to be. So be it, right now. No more postponing. No more hoping someday. You've already dreamed it. You've already felt it. You've already seen the scene in your mind. Now you must be it. Step into the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not later, not tomorrow, but today. As you do, the world will shift. The people will change. The ideas will come. The money will arrive. The success will unfold. And you will stand as living proof that your inner reality shapes your outer world, because it does. It always has, and it always will. You begin to realize that the only real power you've ever needed was your awareness, the awareness of being. Whatever you are aware of being, you become, not by external force, not by manipulating circumstances, but by surrendering to the truth of that awareness. So you let go of striving. You let go of begging the universe. You stop asking when will it come, and instead you begin saying it is already here. That shift, subtle though it may seem, is the true turning point. It is the birth of the new you. This new you doesn't walk around searching for signs. You are the sign. You don't look to the outer world for confirmation. The outer world looks to you for instruction. You realize, at last, that you are not on a journey to become wealthy. You are the wealthy one on a journey to remember. And with that remembrance, the fog clears. The illusions fade. And what's left is truth. Simple, radiant truth. Your millionaire reality already exists. You are walking through it right now, with every thought, every assumption, every emotion. The more clearly you see it within, the more vividly it materializes without. And then comes the moment of deep gratitude. Not the gratitude that pleads and hopes, but the gratitude that knows. The kind of thankfulness that says, I am so glad and grateful that all I once desired is now my present reality. This is not pretending. This is creation. This is the act of stepping into your new world by the power of feeling, by the sacred act of being before seeing. You understand now that imagination is not some idle escape. It is the workshop of the divine. It is where all realities are birthed. And once you truly inhabit the image, not as a visitor but as a resident, the world must bend, must shift, must move to make that image manifest in the material. Even in moments of delay, you no longer react. You rest. You trust. You remind yourself gently, I've already seen the end. I've already lived it in my mind. It must unfold. There's no need to rush, because it's already done. And with that inner peace, everything accelerates. You see, the irony is beautiful. The less you try to get rich, and the more you become rich in your consciousness, the faster wealth rushes in. Not from pressure, but from alignment. Not from forcing, but from flowing. Not from desperation, but from decision. You decided. That's the difference. You didn't hope. You didn't wait. You decided that you are wealthy now, that you are successful now, that you are abundant now. And that decision became your new vibration, your new identity, and therefore your new reality. This is the truth that the masses miss. They keep trying to fix the world, rearrange the pieces, hustle for scraps. But those who know the law, who know imagination, who understand the art of assumption, they do something different. They go within. They assume the feeling. And then they watch as the outer world reflects back their inner certainty with uncanny precision. So I say to you, as a reminder, as a whisper from your higher self. You need not become rich. You already are. You need not chase the dream. It already exists. You need not struggle for the outcome. The outcome is already finished. Your only task is to step into that version of yourself, completely, unwaveringly, and consistently. When you do, when you really do, life will astonish you. Opportunities will arise as if out of nowhere. People will call you lucky, but you will know the truth. You will smile silently, knowing it was never luck. It was law. It was imagination. It was the quiet assumption held in the sacred place of your heart. You will walk through life differently, not with arrogance, but with serene certainty. You won't need to prove your worth. You are the proof. Every breath you take will echo that inner abundance. You'll make decisions from power, not pressure. You'll invest in yourself without hesitation. You'll speak as one who already possesses, who already enjoys, who already is. This new self doesn't need convincing. It knows. It trusts its inner vision more than the evidence of the senses, because it understands that the senses only reflect, they do not lead. So while others are busy reacting to the world, trying to fix what they believe is broken, you are quietly choosing a new scene in the inner theater of your imagination. And because you do not doubt, because you persist, because you feel it real, the scene becomes substance. The dream becomes fact. The invisible becomes visible. And you realize how natural it all is, that manifesting isn't a miracle. It's simply remembering the truth before the world catches up. This remembering becomes your lifestyle. It's not something you turn on for a moment and then forget. No, it becomes your very way of being. You become so practiced in assuming the best that anything less feels foreign. You reject lack not because it's wrong, but because it doesn't feel like you anymore. You've outgrown it. You've evolved. You now identify with prosperity, with overflow, with ease. And ease, my friend, is the language of the fulfilled state. When you live in the end, you are not tense. You are not frantic. You are not searching. You are resting in the knowing. You are breathing from the summit. You are responding to life, not reacting to it. And this shift, this profound shift, becomes the seed of every miracle that follows. So hold to your vision. Return to it often. When doubt whispers, go back into the scene. When fear knocks, feel the state again. When circumstances try to tempt you into old habits of lack, simply remind yourself, that's not who I am anymore. I've moved. I dwell in the state of wealth now. And let that new residence define everything you say, everything you do, everything you feel. Because the truth is, your millionaire reality isn't coming. It's already here. Not in the world of appearances, but in the deeper world of imagination, the only world that truly matters. And the more you persist in it, the more the world must obey. It must obey, because the world is your mirror, always reflecting the sum total of your inner assumptions, your inner speech, your self-concept. It cannot give you what you have not first accepted as true within yourself. So if you wish to see more wealth, you must feel yourself as wealthy now. If you desire more freedom, more luxury, more opportunity, you must embody that state inwardly before it can take shape outwardly. The inner man is the cause. The outer world is the effect. You may change jobs, change cities, change strategies, but if you do not change the inner assumption, the results will remain the same. That is why some people win the lottery and lose it all within a year, because their self-concept of lack remained unchanged. They received wealth without becoming wealth, and the law which never fails restored to them the state they truly believed in. But that is not your story. You know the law. You know your imagination is the only creative force, and you use it wisely, deliberately, lovingly. You go within and create scenes that imply your wealth is real, scenes that fill you with joy, ease, and a quiet confidence. You repeat them until they feel natural, until they feel like home, until you no longer need to visualize them, because they have become your identity. Then what once felt far away begins to feel normal. You begin to forget the old version of you, the one who struggled, the one who worried, the one who doubted. That version begins to fade, like a dream upon waking. You no longer relate to it. You no longer feel the weight of striving. You are at ease because you are aligned. You are relaxed because you are fulfilled. And in this beautiful state of inner fulfillment, the physical world begins to deliver its gifts, not as a reward, but as a reflection. It will come in the most natural ways. You'll meet someone who opens a door. You'll receive an idea that leads to abundance. You'll stumble upon opportunities you couldn't have planned if you tried. That's the magic of alignment. It does not rely on struggle or logic. It unfolds through synchronicity and flow. But always remember, those events are not the cause of your wealth. They are the confirmation of it. The cause was the inner shift, the assumption, the decision to feel rich, to live rich, to think rich, long before any evidence showed up. That moment, the moment you chose to believe, was the true beginning of your millionaire reality. Everything else simply followed. So you no longer worship the manifestation. You no longer treat the money, the cars, the homes, as the power. You understand they are echoes, shadows cast by the light of your consciousness. They are beautiful, yes, and to be enjoyed fully. But the true treasure is your ability to assume, to feel into being whatever you desire. That is your divine gift. That is the pearl of great price. You cherish this power not with fear, but with reverence. You use it wisely, carefully, intentionally. You no longer react emotionally to what the world shows you. If something appears that contradicts your desire, you bless it, for it is only a fading echo of a former belief. You no longer panic. You no longer spiral. You remain still in the knowledge that your new reality is already solidified in consciousness, and therefore must soon appear in form. In this stillness, you become more powerful than any circumstance. You don't talk about the wealth that is coming. You speak from the wealth that is. Your tone changes. Your words carry more weight, not because you're trying to impress others, but because you are impressed inwardly by the truth of who you've become. This inner transformation begins to touch every area of your life. You begin to eat like a wealthy person. You carry yourself with dignity. You give freely. You listen more deeply. You appreciate the smallest things, not because you're pretending, but because your inner state has changed, and your outer behaviors naturally follow. You've become the version of yourself that once felt like a distant dream, and now it is simply who you are. You notice that people respond differently. They treat you with more respect, more admiration, more warmth. And again, it's not because of what you say or wear or do. It's because of what you radiate. Wealth is now your frequency. You no longer seek validation. You embody it. All of this began not with effort, but with awareness. With the quiet decision to feel rich before you had a reason to declare yourself abundant while your world still said otherwise. That was your act of faith. That was the seed of your transformation. And now that seed has blossomed. And so, my beloved friend, let this truth settle deep into your heart. Your millionaire reality already exists. It is not a matter of time. It is not a matter of worth. It is only a matter of assumption. The moment you assume the feeling of wealth, the moment you know it is done, everything in your outer world begins to rearrange itself to reflect that new truth. Do not wait another day. Do not wait for evidence. You are the evidence. You are the operant power. Right now, in this very moment, you can close your eyes, breathe deeply, and feel the richness of a life fulfilled. That feeling is your signal, your command to the universe. Persist in that inner conviction no matter what appears, and the world must comply. It is law. You are not small. You are not powerless. You are not broken. You are infinite awareness clothed in flesh, and your imagination is the key to everything you desire. Use it. Trust it. Live from the end. Walk boldly. Speak abundantly. And think only from the fulfilled wish. This is your time. Not tomorrow. Not when things get better. Today. Right now. This instant. Step into the identity of the one who already possesses the wealth, the freedom, the success. Step into the you that already exists in imagination, and live there not as a visitor but as the rightful owner. And you will see, as surely as night becomes day, that life bends to the power of assumption. Your millionaire reality is not coming. It is already yours. Step into it today.